Welcome back, guys, to another episode of Hashtag The Pep Talk. Back again with another episode. I'm here with a special guest. Special guest. Do you want to introduce yourself?
Hi guys, my name's Kia and I am the founder of Pennies platform and I'm a personal finance expert.
Yep. Don't ask me how I got into it. It's been a long story, but yeah, man. I just want to go deeper. I just want to know more about you. Obviously,
Yes.
I've kind of studied your journey from when I think you first popped up or married on Twitter.
Yes.
I saw you. I think you made a thread.
Yeah.
I think it was about Help to Buy ISA.
Yes, you got
that,
it. Yeah.
Was that the first?
Yeah, that was the first.
Yeah.
Well, the first one that went viral. Yeah.
Yeah. So when I saw that, I was like, bro, like, who's this? Like, because it was like a new, just like a jump out of the blue net. So yeah, like, what was your journey before that, etc., etc.
So in terms of personal finance, I had started a YouTube channel.
Okay.
Back in 2018 when I was in university. So I was in second year, started a YouTube channel about personal finance, trying to help people in uni manage their finances. And as I'm sure you can imagine, you probably don't go into YouTube and watch personal finance videos, right?
Yeah.
So it didn't really have the attention I wanted it to have. So I kind of just put it on pause. I didn't give up. I said, okay, cool. This isn't the right medium, but I'll just leave it. So then it just happened to be that a year later, 2019 in October, that's when you saw the Help to Buy ISA thread went viral. So it wasn't the first thread I made. The first one was about saving money. And that one did all right. I was like, oh my gosh, bear in mind, I was like no one. I had like under 1,000 followers. I was like no one on Twitter. I was like, oh my gosh, this one did well. Then it was a Help to Buy ISA thread. Funny story, actually, I was working in retail. So I remember right before I started my shift, literally like 2 minutes before, I clicked post and I put my phone away because I was working in retail. And then 4 hours later, I came back and like I had like 100 DMs. It'd been retweeted like 15,000 times. I was like, what on earth is going on? I've never seen numbers like that in my life. Or what's going on? And that's kind of what started up my journey.
Okay,
right,
so like I just want to backtrack and just go from the beginning. Like, where did your passion for finance come from? Like, were you always somewhat interested? Because even for me, I've never really had an interest in finance, you know what I'm saying? So, yeah.
I think for me, I've always had like the entrepreneurial spirit.
Okay.
So I started like my first business, so to speak, when I was like 9. I was knitting and selling scarves to my friends in primary school. So I've always had that kind of spirit. And obviously, what comes with making money is learning how to manage that money. So my parents were very instrumental in teaching me how to save, what you should do. They opened up I remember I got a junior savings account when I was like 10.
Wow.
So I used to go with my mum to the bank and have my money deposit in the bank. And at the time we had like a checkbook, like kind of like a ledger book where they'd write how much I've got in my account. So I'd had the book at home and look at how much I had. And that's kind of where that started. And as I got older, my parents would teach me different things. I again started like more businesses during school. You know, when everyone was like selling cookies and stuff.
Yeah.
I was the don in my school selling cookies. So I was bringing in like, I think I was at one point when I was actually pushing it heavy, I was making like 50 pounds profit a day. Crazy. So I was making crazy money. And obviously when it comes to that big money, you have to figure out what do I do with that? Because I'm now bringing home hundreds every week in profit.
Literally.
This is ridiculous. So then my parents would just again like teach me how to put the money aside. And when I was about to start uni, my dad was like, right, you're gonna have to start thinking about your house. Like you're gonna start saving for your house. And I was like, whoa. But all that kind of came from them. All that like that's researching crazy. More and all that personal finance stuff came from them.
That's crazy because I think I got my first bank account when I was 16. So for you to even say junior account at 10 years old, that sounds insane to me. That sounds insane to me, literally. But yeah, like I want to discuss. So I feel like every single person like who is on that journey to being successful, I feel like there's always something I call a turn back moment. So a moment where like things were going well for you and then you couldn't have chosen to just stop doing what you're doing, or you couldn't have just, or you pushed on. So do you have a moment in your life where you feel like you couldn't have taken a completely different direction, apart from like not into even finance, or maybe like I think, what course did you study at?
French and business.
Okay, so do you feel like while you're at university, your life could have taken a completely different direction to what it is now?
Well, I'm on the edge of graduating, so I'm still in that process. Okay. But in terms of not going on a personal finance route, there was a point in time where I was so dedicated. I was going to become like a hair colorist. So I used to always have like these crazy hairstyles and like crazy colors, and I loved doing it. So I started doing it for other people. Like one influencer saw me out and saw my hair, and she's like, "Can you do my hair?" And then from there, she like promoted me. She's like, "You need to start a page and start this." So I was really gonna do it. Like I had, when I tell you, I'd learned graphic design and illustration, so I created my logo. I'd like had the website ready, like the website's still sitting there, and I was gonna do it. And then it just happened, like I think like a month later, that thread went viral.
Okay.
And it was just kind of like, whoa.
Yeah.
And then a month after that, BBC was saying, "Can you come on radio?" And I was like, whoa. I guess I'm gonna put the hair coloring. I didn't think I was gonna like stop it. I thought, okay, I'm just gonna postpone it a couple months, and I'm gonna do it. But then things just quickly got, faster and faster into this personal finance world, and I was like, this is what I wanted to do anyway, because I started in 2018. So I'm just gonna go ahead and do it, and just put the hair coloring stuff to the side.
Okay, that makes sense. Because I feel like, well, when I remember, like, I think when I first started to see your journey on Twitter, because I feel like you're very good at documenting like what so like when you see stuff like that, like you're just thinking, rah, like that's crazy. Because I feel like a lot of influencers or a lot of people who are in a position of influence, they don't really tell you, okay, cool, I've just achieved this. So like when I just saw the way that you were like really telling people, oh, I've just got this. I think even 2 days ago, or I think yesterday, you had a podcast with Apple.
So yeah, I had a session called Crafting Your Podcast.
Yeah.
With Apple. So it came full circle. Up until March this year, I was working in their retail stores, and then I left my job. But bearing in mind, my family were like, "Are you sure?"
Yeah.
My colleagues were like, "Are you sure?" And I was like, "Guys, I have to pursue my passion. This is pennies to pound. It's gonna work." And now to come 6 months later,
and now
to be hosting a session on their behalf, like for them, it's just like crazy to me.
Yeah, literally. So yeah, like I feel like one thing that I do, and I feel like it inspires me and probably lots of people, that you like you really do document your journey, and it's quite easy to follow your steps. So I feel like anyone who is looking up to you or trying to emulate your journey can really say, okay, cool, so she's done this, so let me try that. So I really feel like that's something that you do really well, and just wanted to say that.
I try my best. I do appreciate that. Thank you.
But obviously, I think that the entrepreneur world is getting bigger and bigger. More and more teenagers, or like more people, they're starting. So like, and obviously, I just want to focus on females, and obviously, a lot of females are starting nail businesses, hair businesses, like you name it. So, what do you say to that young female who wants to pursue the entrepreneurial world? Like, who wants to go into that world? Like, what do you say to them? Like, do you like, obviously, a lot of females, they go into it with certain expectations, and obviously, when they don't get those expectations, they then start to throw their toys at the pram, etc. So what do you say to someone who's stepping into the world of entrepreneurship, basically?
What I'd say is that entrepreneurship is hard. I'd say that social media has made it easy to glamorize that journey, and I'm saying that someone I've been in it for multiple ventures. I'm in it right now with regards to what I do. But entrepreneurship is hard. And yes, you see people who I've made 6 figures in my business. I made 7 figures. I'm doing this. I'm driving a Lambo. I'm driving all this. And it looks great. And you think, I want to do this too. She just does hair. I'm going to do hair too and be like her. That is not easy. The difference is that those people don't document their journey, sorry. So they don't show you the long nights. They don't show you the times where they actually lost money. They don't show you that they had to invest their life savings to do this. They don't show you that part. They just show you, oh, look at me now. So it's almost dangerous to get caught up in that trap. Entrepreneurship, if that's something for you and you want to go and try it, go ahead, but don't think it's going to be a smooth journey. That's what I'd say. Like, expect bumps in the roads and understand that it is a process to get to where you want to get to.
Fair enough. I don't know why that was before, but obviously I know your name, but I feel like a lot of people have 2 different ideas, because obviously I think when I thought your name was IKEA.
Yeah.
I think that was your name on Twitter.
It's my name, yeah.
So your name is IKEA. That's your full name?
No.
Okay, so what's your real name?
My real name's Kia.
Oh, Kia. Okay, cool. Yeah. So, also, what country you from?
Dominican and Jamaica.
Okay. I feel like I would have got that if I guessed it.
Okay.
I feel like I would have guessed it. But don't know why I was beforehand. But so Pennies to Pounds podcast. How did you get into that? Because you were saying how you made a thread on Twitter and then BT called you up? Like, how did the idea of having a podcast even ring to your brain?
So shortly after that, Threads obviously like blew up. Did a few more threads. I think the Lifetime Ice Thread. I did a couple more threads after that, and I was like, okay, cool. People actually want this content. So, I tried to do YouTube videos, but people want this content.
Yeah.
And I thought Twitter's great, but I want another medium where I can actually like give more information, because what people don't realize is that threads take me hours to do, because you're having to condense this huge topic into 240 characters per tweet, which is really hard.
Yeah.
And I thought, although I can convey the basics through threads, I really want another medium where I can actually like educate people properly. So I was trying to figure out what should I do, and people were giving me ideas. People were like, you should have a TV show, you should write a book, all these like crazy things. I'm like, guys, relax. And then someone said to me, you should have a podcast, and I was like, actually. And I went back, and my dad's like great. I bounce ideas off him all the time. I said to him, what do you reckon, should I do a podcast? And he was like, yeah. He's like, you have to get the right name though. If you get the right name, then cover it. So it took me about a week, I'd say, to try and figure out names. I didn't know. I knew I wanted to record, so I found a studio, everything, went to go record, and still didn't really have a name. So
what names were you thinking of, like, apart from Pennies to Pounds, obviously?
I was thinking like, I think I was like, I can't remember. I was thinking like the money, like finance. I was just like money, finance, money, personal. I didn't know. And then I remember vividly when I came up with the name. I was on my way home from work, and literally was walking down my road, and I was there trying to think, what am I going to call this podcast? What am I going to call it? Because the first episode I didn't have a name. I had no name for the first episode. I had no name. I was like, what am I going to call it? What am I going to call it? Walked down the road, and I was like, it's got to be something like pennies, pounds. I was like pennies to pounds. And I was like, wait. So now I Googled it, because I thought if someone's already got it, then I have to go back to square one. Googled it. There's no podcast called that. There was nothing like that. And I was like, that's my name. I went home to my dad, because my dad is he's very blunt. So if it's not good, he'll tell me. I went back. I said, Daddy, pennies to pounds. And he's like, yeah, I like it.
Oh, right.
Because I can't remember the names now, but whatever names I gave him, he was like, nope. And that was the first one he said, yeah, I like it.
Okay.
I said, yes, that's what I'm going to call it. And that's how that happened.
That's just all. And I feel like, and even, I think a few weeks ago, maybe a week or two ago, you even said how you reached 100 streams.
Yeah, so I think it was crazy. Last week now, 100,000 streams in 10 months.
Which is crazy.
Bearing in mind, like, so I'm someone who really loves to jot down their goals, and I love to track myself and keep myself accountable that way. So my goal, in January, I wrote down my goals for the end of the year. And my goal was to have 10,000 streams.
Wow.
By the end of the year. Imagine.
Wow. Yeah.
I literally was like, if I get 10,000, I'm going to be so happy.
Yeah.
And now I'm at the point where one episode, like one of my episodes alone, has 10,000.
Yeah.
Which is just crazy. Honestly crazy when you look back at it.
Crazy. But yeah, so people would say, you could say that you're successful in some form of, or in some way. Like, you can say that you've achieved some sort of success in your field. So how do you go about sustaining that? Obviously, so, like, to get success is another thing, but to sustain it is also another thing. So how do you sustain? Like, do you, like, what's your routine? Like, how, like, what's your schedule? Do you have people helping you? Do you have a management team, etc., etc.?
I do everything. Like, pretty much everything. I kind of just like outsource, like, maybe admin, but I pretty much do everything. So when you see on the Pennies to Pounds Instagram page, I create the content.
Wow.
When you see the tweets, it's me. When you see LinkedIn, YouTube, editing videos, editing audio, it's all me. I do everything. And I guess it's like pros and cons to that. Pros is like, it can be as good as I want it to be.
Yeah, literally.
But the cons is that there's not enough hours in the day to do everything. And I'm always thinking, I need to do this, I need to do that. My mind's always running to the next thing because I don't really get to bounce off it. But in terms of sustaining the success that you mentioned, I think it all comes down to like innovation and like staying up to date with the trends. Because what I noticed is that a lot of people kind of say, yeah, this works for me and that's it. And then they'll just stay like that. And I've been doing this and it's been working. But we know that in this day and age of social media and everything, things change rapidly.
Yeah, you have to adapt.
So if there's a new platform that arises and everyone's on that platform, you've got to try and figure out, is that going to make sense for me? Oh, not every platform's going to make sense, but can I make it work? Or can I address a certain issue that's coming up? That's what it is, to try and stay relevant and stay, on par. Well, at least in my industry anyway.
Okay, that makes sense. I listened to your podcast with Monica Lee.
Yes.
I think, and that I really, really enjoyed it, and I really got a few gems from it. But I think you two touched upon like when you come into obviously this is essentially the creative
Yes,
industry.
yeah.
So like, how do you maintain your creativity? Because like you must at some point like you must be like, raw, like what thread can I make or what can I talk about on my podcast? So how do you go about sustaining that? Do you know what I'm saying?
Yeah, I've had that before on my podcast. I'm thinking, what on earth? Like I've spoken about everything quite
Yeah,
today. What can I
yeah.
talk about? But it's just sometimes I get inspired by talking to friends and sometimes hearing their conversations and what their worries are. Because for me, I have friends who are in different points in their lives.
Yeah.
So me, I'm a recent graduate, but then I have friends who are in their careers, and then I have friends who are thinking about marriage. So everyone's got all kinds of
Yeah,
spectrums of problems,
yeah.
and all of them somehow boil down to finance. So I sometimes I listen to them, I'm like, that's really interesting. Like, yeah, people actually don't talk about that. And
Yeah.
yeah, you're right, actually. And I'll be like, I'm going to talk about it next time.
Okay.
And luckily, I have an amazing following who will be more than happy to DM me and say, actually, can you cover this? So that gives me, again, more inspiration.
More
like, okay, people
inspirations.
want to know about this because you messaged me and asked me if I can cover this next time. So I think the balance of the two, like talking to my friends and families, not saying, what's your problem today? But like just having normal conversation, you just kind of hear what issues are. And also having the following who are willing to reach out to me.
Okay. Yeah, that makes a lot of sense. So now it's like, what's your end goal with the podcast? What's that one thing that if you achieve with £20, you won't say that I've made it, but you say, okay, cool, I've done this and now I'm happy. It could be an amount of streams. It could be maybe, I don't know, a collaboration with a bigger podcast, anything. What's that end goal? What's that one thing that you say?
I think the one thing that I'd love to have is either 1 million streams. I think that's like such a
crazy.
great, that's such a great achievement.
Crazy.
1 million streams, or like winning some sort of award. There's a big podcast award in the UK. If I won that, I'd be like, whoa, like, guys, don't even talk to me. I can't go to Tesco no more. Do you know what I mean? Like, I'm done. I'm done.
Yeah, that would be crazy. Yeah,
one of those two, even both. I'd be like, God, I'm done.
Yeah,
don't look at me, mate. Change my number. I'm gone. That'll be it.
But yeah, and also like, what's the end goal for yourself? Like, what do you want to achieve for yourself? It could be, I don't know, financial freedom. It could be having multiple or having a certain amount of streams of income. Like, what's that one thing that if you achieve, you'll be content? Like, do you know what I'm saying?
I think I'll be content when I don't have, like, when I'm just like, you know what, I'm chilling, like, money wise. People say financial freedom, and then you ask them what number, they can't give you a number.
Yeah.
I just want to be at a point where I'm just like, you know what, I don't even need to worry about money.
Yeah.
My family don't need to worry about money. I've got them. I need to worry about money. I'm not looking at my bank account before I go, and I'm not transferring money over from savings to, you know what I mean? I'm just chilling. I'm enjoying my life. And some people think financial freedom means you have no liabilities. Like, I don't mind having money in the bank and having a mortgage. To me, I'm still free. I don't have to worry about the mortgage payments. I don't have to think, oh, have I got enough in there to pay the mortgage? I'm so easy. I don't mind. So I think for me, just being able to just be comfortable, not worrying about, oh, let me try and get another stream of income, or let me try and do this job, and just being comfortable, I'm fine.
Yeah. And also, I just want to go a bit into depth on this. So I can tell that you're someone who can effectively manage their time. So, and obviously for someone like me, I kind of struggle sometimes on like sticking to my routine and even just keeping myself motivated. You know what I'm saying? So as a young person, how do you go about trying to keep yourself motivated? Like, how do you go about trying to keep that discipline? Because essentially, like, you need to have some sort of discipline to be successful.
I think I learned that discipline in sixth form. I went to a really, really, really good sixth form, which was really strict, and it was hardworking. You probably even know the sixth form. Everyone knows sixth form. I was really, really disciplined sixth form. So I feel like you learn a lot when you was there, but I had to manage my time, and even there'll be points where I'll be revising. I used to get into sixth form 6 in the morning, leave 6 p.m. I did it for 2 years. Wow. And there'll be times like, what is the point? Like, I'd wake up and be like, oh my gosh, I've got this again. Like, I wake up at 4:30 thinking, oh God, this again. Like, this is so long. Yeah. But what I did then, and what I still do to this day, is I try and picture my end goal. So when I'm doing something, I'm like, this is long now, but I know that in X amount of time when it's done, I'm going to be so relieved because this outcome will happen, or whatever it is. Picturing the end goal helps me to keep pushing through whatever laborious tasks I don't want to do, or if it's like admin, I'm just like, I really could be, I can't bother to do this. But I know the end goal is worthwhile. That's what I will try and do.
Okay. I feel like a lot of young people, they might start something, then when they hit like a little issue or a little setback, they might just be like, oh, this is long, or this is.
And I get
dead,
that.
I'm
I completely get that. But if you put it in perspective, right? I kind of had that when I first started the podcast. So there was kind of like I was recording in South London. I live in East London. I was commuting. There was points I'm just like, I can't be bothered.
arts,
Like, what's the point in commuting? What's the point in doing all this? I even sometimes just had a few issues, a few guests who I couldn't really get on and all that stuff. It was almost like, what's the point in this podcast? If I had stopped, that was like about 2 months in. If I had stopped then, I wouldn't be where I am today. Yeah. So I had to overlook those hiccups and just keep pushing through and say, you know what, I know. And obviously in my head, I was picturing in the 10,000 streams. I was thinking, when I get 10,000 streams, it's going to be amazing. Yeah. And now I'm like 100,000. It's not been a year yet. Yeah. But that's showing me that my hard work has paid off. Yeah. So I have to just keep pushing myself and remembering that there is an end goal I want to hit. I
think essentially it's about putting down your pride. I feel like every single, like even me, like when I first started doing this podcast, I had a lot of pride that I'll be thinking like, bro, like I don't need no one's help. No one's gonna help me. I'm gonna be myself. So I feel like it's essentially you have to break that barrier of your pride, because pride can really stop you from chasing things. Absolutely. Yeah. But yeah, thank you so much for this episode. For having me. Guys, I'll see you all next week. Make sure you like, you comment, subscribe. Thank you, man. Thank you.